Hi, this is Political News in 5, and today's May 29, 2022. I'm Aisha Usuri. Now, what a week it's been for politics in Nigeria. Someone tagged this May for mayhem, and it's absolutely apt. Now, the three things I'll be talking about this week are one, the primaries in general, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the funny. And two would be the PDP presidential primaries that took place yesterday. And three would be INEC changing the timeline for the primaries. Now, speaking of the first, some of the big surprises include Senators Abaribe and Ikweremadu of the PDP not getting their tickets. They have held these tickets respectively for 16 to 20 years. There was also another upset for Governor Ben Ayade, who wanted the APC ticket to the Senate but didn't get it. That's the first, a good one, an incumbent not winning a ticket. Let's hope it stays that way. Why do I say so? Because Banky W, the musician, won apparently his primaries in Lagos, but when the list came out, his name was not on it. It's quite possible that with Ayade, we see the reverse. He didn't win, but then his name magically appears on a list. Fingers crossed that's not the case. The delegates made us laugh in many places. For example, some of the funniest stories I heard was one regarding VP Namadi Sambo's son Adam, who apparently paid almost 48 million naira to different delegates and ended up with just 2 votes. He promptly went round to try and retrieve his funds, and I think that's been something that other aspirants are doing as well. The other funny story was from Shehu Sani, the former senator, who said he wasn't going to pay a kobo to any delegate and thanked the 2 delegates who voted for him despite not being paid. He said his phone promptly started ringing with hundreds of people all claiming to be these 2 delegates. So it seems the delegates want to be perceived as people of integrity, but yet they sell their votes to the highest bidder. Shame on them. Another pleasant surprise was Senator Aisha Binani, who won the APC gubernatorial ticket for Adamawa. She beat people like Nuri Badu, the former EFCC chairman, and Aisha Buhari's brother. Kudos to her. She seems like a really popular candidate who's put in the work it takes to win elections. So good luck to her. Speaking of popularity, that takes us to the PDP presidential primaries, where very popular Peter Obi, at least popular on social media, dropped out of the PDP presidential race, left the party and moved to the Labour Party to secure their ticket. I think he wanted to prevent the kind of 0 votes debacle that we saw yesterday with Fayose and Dele Momodu. And so let's see what happens with him with the Labour Party. Atiku has won again. He beat the next contender, Wike, by over 100 votes. I mean, how the hell did Atiku pull that off, considering that so many people's money was on Wike, considering that he manages the treasury for the second richest state in Nigeria? Well, at least 3 things made a difference. The first for me, I would say, was Tambuwal, who was Atiku's main rival for the PDP ticket in 2019, collapsing his campaign into Atiku's and giving him his delegates. So that was one. 2, there was also the case of the way the primaries were organized yesterday, where instead of having ballot boxes by state so that the state delegates put their ballots in those boxes and then counting them, the organizers had one big box where everybody put their ballots in. Why was this a game changer? Because it makes it near impossible for you to victimize or to find out what delegates didn't vote for you. If we had done the ballot placing into the state boxes, it would be easy for somebody for, like, say, Isaraki, who came third with 70 votes, to say, I was expecting 100% of Kwara's votes, but I see that I only got 80%. Who were those people that didn't vote for me? I'm going to find them and deal with them. With this organization and the added condition that nobody could bring their phone to the ballot so that they couldn't take pictures and say, here's proof that I voted for you. Those were the game changers. I think we could act. That's really how democracy should work, at least in that context of the voting. And third, you would say that maybe Section 84.8 actually worked in favor of PDP, because with a smaller list of delegates, with no statutory delegates, they just had 774 people to vote. That's 1 from each local government. And it made everything neat, tidy, and quick to get through. So it will be interesting later on to see a breakdown of the demographics of those 774 people. How many women, how many people with disabilities, how many young people. But we'll save that for later. And so we see now that Atiku has won. The next conversation is going to be obviously two things. One, who is going to be his vice president? And two, who is he going to face? Who are they going to face in the APC? APC was obviously waiting to know how the PDP presidential primaries were going to go before they came out with theirs. Now, are they going to change their calculations? Are we going to see a Lawan so that we have two men from the northeast? Or are they going to stick with someone from the south? If they do that, the southwest, the arguments against them is that for equity, they've held the presidency and the vice presidency for 8 years each, 16 years, and it's better to have somebody from the south or the southeast. When you look at candidates from the southeast, they seem quite lackluster. Wajuiba, who is unknown, Ono, who's old and tired. So again, it strengthens maybe the south. Maybe there's a stronger case to be made for people like Amechi and the dark horse President Jonathan, who hasn't said he's contesting, but there's strong indication that he might be the candidate. There's also already between yesterday and today a sense that yes, an Atiku in the PDP strengthens the chances of a Jonathan in the APC, because in addition to him only running for one term, Jonathan has beat Atiku before in 2011. So we could be seeing a rematch of the 2011 elections. Let's see. Whatever the case, it's quite clear that the owners of APC are aware that their candidate is going to be quite controversial even internally, and they want to ward off any possibilities of lawsuits, and that's why they fixed the time for when they're going to decide who their candidate is going to be, quite close to the INEC's June 9th deadline. Speaking of the June 9th deadline, INEC disappointed many of us on Friday when it came out and said that it was extending the primaries deadline by 6 days. We had been proud of the fact that INEC had been very proactive about sharing the timetable with everyone so that there were no excuses, people could prepare. We're also impressed with the fact that they seemed quite firm and disciplined about that timeline. And all of a sudden, they just spoiled all that goodwill with a last-minute extension, which many say favor really just the APC, because as of Friday, when the announcement from INEC came out, APC had not even started screening its presidential candidates for the elections that were supposed to take place today, May 29th. INEC is treading on very thin ice in terms of its reputation. The 2019 elections were a disaster. I think second only, maybe even worse than the 2007 elections. We definitely want better elections in 2023 with improved perceptions of integrity and management. And so we call upon INEC to please do the right thing and make sure that they are seen to be non-partisan and making decisions for everyone's best benefit, not for the benefit of a few individuals. For example, the EFCC was at the PDP primaries yesterday. Let's hope that they will be there at the APC primaries if we have primaries in the APC. That's it for me this week. Don't forget to register to vote or to pick up your PVC if you've already registered. Stay well and see you next week. Bye.